it going out there, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Cash, and this is Weekly Recap. So what is Weekly Recap? I'm going to go over my week of operating a semi-truck in the United States. A few things about Weekly Recap. This is going to be from the middle of February 2024. Forgot what month it was. And I pull a reefer trailer. I don't talk about the carrier I'm leased to. Do your research. Find yourself a carrier if you want to do something similar to this. Don't build your business on what I say here solely. You should take in a lot of information from a lot of different places before you get into business, because you gotta ask yourself a lot of questions. Am I willing to sacrifice? Am I willing to do those things? Like Meatloaf. I mean, the guy will do anything for love, but he won't do that. You know what I'm saying? So just keep in mind, you know, this is one person's opinion, one person's week. Mileage may vary and whatnot. And I work on fuel efficiency as my top thing in trucking. I feel like it's the most changeable variable in trucking. If you can get good fuel mileage, it's money. Everything else is kind of what it is. You can't really change your insurance rate a whole lot, per week. I mean, you can maintain a good driving record and do what you can, but you can't really you're not going to change $100 a week in your insurance rate. Rarely, but you can with fuel. So focus on fuel economy would be my recommendation. Now let's get to weekly recap. I live in Minnesota. I like to go out, back, and that's it. Be done with it. Trucking's not really a lifestyle to me more than it is a job. Now it becomes a lifestyle because of the type of job it is, but the more I can keep it just as a job, the better I feel about it. So um, I went to Minnesota, out and back on this week. Now, I took 2 days off between the last week and this week I'm going to talk about here because of a really soft freight market. Volume is one of the words I use a lot, and by that I mean the quantity of freight that is available to be pulled, and volumes are down. The economy is down, the freight market is down. It's what it is. I'm not complaining. I'm not trying to gaslight. I don't care. It's just what it is. We're having to deal with it. you know. And I think even with the volumes being down in this economy, you can still make money. You can't make that easy gravy, pandemic money, but you can still make money. More than likely, if you were in this before the pandemic, you're going to be in this after the pandemic. It was just a roller coaster ride, and it brought a lot of people into the industry. We're dealing with that right now. So I took 2 days off. If I can't find the right freight, I'd rather sit at the house. I'm not going to move someone's business. I'm not going to conduct business for someone for a break even. It's just not what I'm in it for, especially coming out of the house. I'm already at home. I can just stay at home and make no money. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I looked at it. I sat at the house for 2 days. Then I found this load here, or the company found this load for me. They got some new people we're working with up in Minnesota. And so I said, hey, I'll do it. I've already done one of these. I said, I'll do another one. Minnesota, one pick in Minnesota, one pick in Illinois, and then it all dropped in Georgia. So 2 pick, 1 drop. 188 deadhead miles to go get this, so I wasn't really close to it, but whatever. 1237 on the loaded miles, and that's 1425 total on that. That's a negative 10 load. 45,000 pounds that load. Yes. I scaled it. It was legal. Now I can put the scale ticket up here and know that I moved it another pin from what that was. So if it looks like it's not legal, I still had pins to move and I moved it. So I scaled it, then I rescaled it, and it looked like to me that every pin I moved was worth 350 pounds. So I just went ahead and moved it one more pin. We were all good to go, off to the races. But yeah, that was a drop trailer facility at the second stop. And the broker was like, oh, if they put that much weight on there, you should have them take some of that weight off. And I'm like, they had my trailer forever. I'm not giving it back to them. No, I'm already running late at this point. I was like, I'll just run it, because the most they're going to take off is like, 1,000 pounds. They're not going to take off a lot. If it's legal and it scales, they're not in the business of removing it, And the way I look at that is, um, the load on the Raycon said it was going to be 44,000 pounds. So it's not like they told me it was going to be 5,000 pounds and then it was 45,000 pounds. I might call and complain about that, but if it's 1,000 more than what they said it was going to be and it scales legal, I mean, what am I going to do? It's all within the realm of what we had agreed upon, in my opinion. It's like kind of when they book the truck, they're booking it for 80,000 pounds. When they tell me on the rate con, it's going to be 44,000 pounds. Um, so that was that load. I did run that on start and stop. It was very cool out. Not a lot of reefer fuel used on that. And that load was $5,600. I got $160 detention added to that load. So that load was $5,760 all in. And it is what it is. Now, I ran that load to Georgia, and the reason I got that detention pay was because I ran a 700-mile on the dot, 700-mile load from Illinois down to Georgia overnight. They gave me my trailer back and the paperwork at like 5 in the afternoon. I was in Georgia the next morning, on time, mind you, and they had not confirmed the delivery appointment. The broker or the shipper one let me down so bad. I sat there all day waiting on that to deliver that as a work-in, and I got $160 for that. So it doesn't happen often, but it kind of burns me because it's like my day is worth more than $160. I could have reloaded that day and been gone, but I had to sit there all day and reload the next day. So I think, everybody wants to gripe about transparency this and transparency that. I think we need to have some standards for things. Like if you hold a truck up for an entire day, there's no way $160 is worth that. My truck insurance, equipment and insurance is worth more than $160 a day. So it's a bit of an insult, but whatever. Whatever. I mean, I'll pull their loads again. I'm not sitting here saying I won't because I know I will. But it happens so often. I wish they would just pay properly on that. But that's my gripe of the day. All right, then out of Georgia, I did a chicken load. Yeah, I did a chicken load. I'm not ever going to say I'm never going to do a chicken load again because every time I say that, I end up on a chicken load. The fact of the matter is, when I go to Georgia, I'm probably going to do a chicken load back because that thing with volumes that I was talking about a little while ago, that plays into this because in Georgia, there were no loads back to Minnesota. And there was a chicken load back to Minnesota, and that's where I'm at. It's like it's better just to get back to Minnesota for me. So I take a little less, I take the chicken load, and I move on because it's available. Because I look at, I like to make a good day rate, I like to make a good weekly rate, but I am more concerned with my monthly rate. And then I'm even more concerned with my yearly rate. Okay. So I try not to get too caught up on the day rate, but I want a good day rate. Try not to get too caught up on the weekly rate, but I want to make a lot of money in a week. But I'm more about month and year. So it comes down to I called when I was on the way to Georgia. I called and I said, "Hey, what's the odds that I come out of Georgia not on a chicken load?" They said, "Well, you can either take a chicken load or you can probably sit for another day and then end up taking a chicken load because, they were like, once you see the freight that's available down there, you're going to come to the conclusion that, going to the chicken murder capital of the world, Gainesville, Georgia, is where the money's going to be coming out of there." And sure enough, they called me and said, "Hey, we got Gainesville straight back to Minnesota if you want it." So I take it, it's just how it is right now for me. And like I say, don't let what I'm doing, ruffle your feathers because this is what I did. This affects me. And if you think one truck changes the market, it really doesn't. Because if that was the fact, these guys that are in, hauling freight consistently for $1.50 a mile right now, everything would be a dollar, so I try to just look at it as it's a one-off. I get it done. So that was Georgia to Minnesota, 79 deadhead miles, 1188 on the loaded miles. I could have got that down a little bit, but um, on those chicken loads I've got now where I just take the freeway around. I used to cut through and cut some time, and really I wasn't saving any time or money because you go a certain way and then you got red lights and you go around. Typically in my career, this is how it goes. You can find a shorter route, but it's probably not better on time and all those red lights when you're loaded heavy. It's hard on the equipment. It's hard on the fuel economy. A big diesel truck is better off doing a consistent speed down the highway than it is going through every little town going 55 to 40 to 30 and then speeding back up from 30 to 45 to 55, through every little town. So I've upped the mileage on those chicken loads a little bit because of that, but I just, it feels better, it goes smoother. 1267 all in on that, 25-degree load, 40,000 pounds, start and stop load. Now I do run that on continuous for the first 5-6 hours just to make sure we got good airflow and make sure the chicken is cooled down. But after that, they're fine with it being on start and stop. And that load paid $2,200 on that. So, like I say, taking what I can get on Georgia. So total gross for the week, $7,960 total gross. My 80% is 6368. All in miles, 2,692 all miles, 2425 on the loaded miles, 267 deadhead miles, and that is 10% deadhead. All right, let's talk about mileage and what it pays per mile. 296 all miles, 237 my 80%, so to the truck, basically power only. I do pay for reefer fuel, but 237 on the 80%, and that's 328 a loaded mile. So there's some good freight out there if you can get to it. It's there. I spent $971 on diesel. I need diesel. $62 on reefer fuel, $46 on DEF fluid, $18 on scales. I did not scale the chicken load on the way back. I've done enough of those. They're very consistently loaded. Even with the new truck, the new truck has the suspension gauge on it, just like my other truck did. So I'm pretty good with that. I can, as long as I know that they're pretty close to 40,000 pounds on those. I mean, they're not lying about it, because they sell that by the weight, you know. So they're not going to be too much over or too much under, when you're selling product by the weight. So as long as the suspension gauge on the truck kind of factors in where I've got the axles, I just go with it. Um, and that leaves variable cost $1,097 for variable cost. You bring over the 6368 money to the truck, subtract out the 1097, and that leaves me $5,271. I moved 500 of that back to the maintenance account, which I'm still trying to rebuild. I switched over to tires. I don't know if you've seen the video of where I did super duals to super singles. Go check that out if you want to. That cost me a little bit of money out of the maintenance account. I got steer tires coming up here in about a month, probably. Maybe a little bit more I could get out of them, but if we start into a rainy spring season, I want fresh steer tires on there. I'm not a big fan of hydroplaning. So we'll do that. And then hopefully after we get the steers on there, we can just, stack some money and get that maintenance account built back up. But after all that was said and done, that left me $4,771 left to do what I have to do with. And fuel costs for the week, 36 cents a mile to move the truck down the road in fuel cost. Fuel is going back up. I kind of ran down the fuel for the week. When I say I spent $971, that is what I bought. That is not necessarily what I used. So it is what it is. Hopefully, fuel levels off and starts going back down because it has been going up the last few weeks. Not enjoying that, but if you need help with that, go check out the ES Advantage down there. It's what I do. Check it out, get those fuel costs down. But that's a week, folks. Weekly recap in the books. And thanks everybody for watching. If you could smash that like button and come join me for a live show. Having lots of fun with those. Hi, I want to talk to you real quick about the ES Advantage card. Do you need discounts at major truck stop chains? They got them. Do you need discount on shop rates at TA and Love's? They got them. Tire discounts. They even got health insurance now. Click the link down below. Easy application, no credit check. Sign up. They give you a call back. They'll take all your information and you'll be in the network.